Tonality and body language. This is such a deep topic, so comprehensive, but I want to cover it today so then you can have an understanding of what it really means to implement a lot of these techniques. Because if you're just doing these techniques and laying the foundation, but your body language is off and your tonality is off, a lot of this stuff is just not going to fly. It's like, try be dominant when you're going to a woman like, "Hi, wait, can you get on your knees?" She's just going to
not impressed.
She's just exactly. She's not going to be impressed. So I really want to break down the importance of tonality, and this is one of the most important videos on this video course, because it will be the foundations for actually if something lands in the bedroom, or if it doesn't, or if a foreplay technique actually comes across in the right way. Because if you're going, "Leave your panties in your purse at home," it's these subtleties that are going to make the huge difference.
Yeah, and also how you show up and how you hold yourself, which is basically said in the body language, and also your facial expressions. Like if you're about to burst out in laughter and you do try to be dominant in a way and to lead a situation that might not necessarily fit together that well. So be aware of all those tiny little details that will help and that will support you within all the other explorations that you can have.
That's why I see it for a man. It's going through a lot of hardship and going through a lot of intense situations and being able to sit with a lot of tension. It's so important for a man to sit with tension and not just dissipate it, sitting with that sexual tension and not releasing it first. And then when you're with a woman, really strong, penetrative eye contact. It's looking deep into her soul with a really relaxed face, relaxed jaw, relaxed body, doing the deep breaths as well. What also happens, I've seen a big difference as well. I used to be a skinny hippie and have a long beard and kind of look like Jesus. People have told me sex Jesus. Now and I was about 78, 9 kilos then, and now I'm about 91 and a half kilos, and I'm moving up to about 210 pounds. And I feel such a difference in my presence. Yeah. So just even a simple thing is going to the gym, working on your posture and working on your flexibility and opening that up is a huge difference in the way that women will respond. It doesn't mean to be a 6'2" or 5 foot something. Yes, of course, height does help, but I don't want you to be thinking "Oh, Andrew, you're tall, that's why you have more of an advantage." It is an advantage of being tall, but there's so many other things that I have worked on of the man who I am, and women pick up on that. Women can feel when you've gone through that adversity, through those tough times, through those intense situations. It's a man is really forged in those challenges, and it comes through in his body language, in the way he comes across and speaks. So there's nothing that's going to really help you out more than going through these experiences. Even myself, putting myself in situations that are really intense, in fighting, in martial arts, so many things just this, just alone outside the bedroom. It's the way you will carry yourself. A man who's had a fight, who's been in the ring, a man who's been through intense breakups and who's gone through some really intense shit in his life, it's you will show up with a different demeanor about yourself completely just from that fact alone. So I also want to make it clear as well, with the tonality, when you're speaking with a woman, you want to speak with a downward inflection. Because if you're speaking with a high inflection and "Hey, get on your knees," or "Tonight I'm going to do this to you," it's just not going to fly.
Not really.
Yeah. "Tonight I want you to leave your panties and your purse at home." Mm-hmm. It's you want to speak with a downward inflection. "Tonight I want you to leave your panties and your purse at home." Panties and purse at home. Downward inflection, deep eye contact, strong presence. You're not moving around this is what the feminine does. The feminine is more
moving. The feminine is flowy and moving and with this higher pitched tonality.
Yeah.
But the masculine just isn't that.
And this is where with the masculine as well, you are this pillar.
Yeah.
But I want you to see it as you are an erection. Because people, when they explain masculine and feminine dynamics, what they sometimes say, it's the masculine is just this pillar, this rigid pillar. You're not a rigid pillar. What you are is this. You are an erection. And when you're an erection, it's actually pulsing. You're this pulsing, grounded pillar of support that is actually this pulsation of blood and air and like you still got that
There's
movement.
flow still.
There's still that flow, but you're so deeply rooted in the earth. When it's the feminine, it's more like flowy, like the wind and like a leaf and
Like
just
water.
like water. And if you're just like so rigid as the masculine, and you're not breathing, and you're just like stiff like this, it's not really present because you're just tensing your whole body. It's like, how relaxed can you be throughout your whole body? And like being that hard cock that has life force through it. Is deeply rooted into the earth. That's what women want, and that is the body language that I want you to like really come across with. And when that happens, women will feel way more safe and secure in your presence.
And sometimes when you're a little bit insecure, when it is something out of your comfort zone, we tend to like pitch our voice more high and like speak from like more of a head voice rather than really like speaking from a lower, more deeper voice. But you can practice that, and it's just over and over doing it again, and then you will become more and more comfortable with it, and at the same time your tonality will drop down more and more and more.
Speaking from the gut, and seriously for me, man, when I've done a lot more of the gym, I've actually seen the testosterone levels also go through the roof, my diet, things like this, and my voice has actually dropped and got deeper. You watch my old videos back in the day from my YouTube videos, and you'll just even see these little subtleties. It's like, that's why I'm really a big proponent of going to the gym, doing to the martial arts, really looking after yourself, taking pride in your appearance, dressing for your body type, things like this, and dressing really good clothes and taking that little bit of extra effort, and it goes a long way. You might be like, what does this matter? And also grooming yourself, like trimming your pubes in the bedroom, these things like this. It's like the way you carry yourself. Women will pick up on these subtleties. Women are so great at picking up nuances and subtleties.
We are so detail oriented.
Oh, so detailed oriented. And if you're like, oh, that doesn't matter, man, you'll realize, like, even if you haven't cut your nails properly and like they're really long and it's like looks like the shit under your nails, trim that, man. It's about that appearance. And when you're speaking, speak from your gut, that deeper place. And women will feel that deep resonance as well.
And slow down when speaking. Like, you don't have to rush through it. Enjoy the moment and really, really take it slow.
Yeah, it's the difference between like, hey, take off your panties, like, hey, opposed to doing this. Hey, what I want you to do is take off your panties. Hold the eye contact, slow down, breathe, take off your panties.
A huge difference, a huge difference.
And feel that tension as well that you're creating with this other person. And when you feel that, it's like this, and sit with this lull. The masculine with the body language can sit with the lull. You'll say something and you're not trying to fill that silence immediately. You can sit with that and then hold eye contact and build that sexual tension. And then like when say you were talking and then you feel this lull in the conversation, don't feel like you have to just fill it. Sit there in that void, in that vacuum, hold the eye contact and be like, I can't believe you're looking at me like that. How dare you? So it's like, I can't believe you're looking at me like that. How dare you? And like, assume that she's hitting on you. So it's like reversing that script and having that fun with that and just like sitting with that. And not, the masculine isn't afraid as well to say a little few things. Even though this isn't a video about masculinity, it kind of is because it all ties in. And when you can do this, you just watch how much a woman will submit and surrender through your tonality, through the way you're looking at her, by you breathing deeply, by you taking your time. You look at these elders in like these tribes. They're usually wise. They take their time. They really look at the scope of the land. They like more like
observative. Really slow.
Observing and slowing down, and like, when it's time to strike, they can strike, and they've got that awareness as well. It's like that story of that old bull and the young calf. Have you heard that one? Have I told you that one before?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like, I think it's the movie Sopranos. It's like the old bull, and it's like he's been in the pastures for such a long time, and he's been in the pastures for such a long time. He's old, he's wise and stuff like that. And then this young calf gets dropped, young bull gets dropped off at the top of the hill. And he's running around. He's like, to the old bull, hey, I see all these young calves down at the bottom of the hill. I'm like, let's go down there and fuck one of them. And the old bull is like, just like slowly grazing. and taking some deep breaths, and he's kind of shaking his head. Then he looks at the young bull and he just says, with such confidence and conviction, and he says really slowly, let's not go down there. Let's not run down there. Let's walk down there slowly and fuck all of them. So it's the difference of like that experience and taking the time and sometimes not being so eager. And if woman picks up on that eagerness in your tonality and eagerness in your body language, like, and the way you touch her as well, if you're touching her like unconfidently, it's like a woman wants to feel like just pulling her in. I'm like, hey, I've got you, like I'm here, and pull her in close to you, or grabbing her by the neck if she wants that, having your hand on her chest and just pulling her like, oh my God, and taking that leadership as well. And that takes time to develop, I get that. But what you can do with the tonality is practice speaking in a downward inflection. Look at how you're moving in the mirror. Look at some movies where you look at the actors like, wow, look at his body language, and you can just see the way that he carries himself.
Yeah, the main characters in movies usually talk really slow. They are really, really like in a deeper tonality, especially the leader in like those movies. And that's a great opportunity to get a little bit more inspiration.
The old school 007 movies, things like this, you can just see how they speak and the way they carry themselves. It's so important. And then when you are being sexual with a woman and you're doing all these foreplay techniques, when she's like, oh, oh my God, she just wants you to fuck. I'm like, hey, chill. Put your finger over her mouth. I've got you. There's nowhere to be. There's nothing to do. Instead of going, chill, I've got you. Just wait there a second. I'm going to keep doing my thing. You can tell already. Hopefully I've made the really strong, the strong distinction and the contrast for you to really go, you know what? It's time to work on your tonality, your body language, and there's so much outside the bedroom. I still work on myself tremendously so then I can keep like developing my character as a man, my physicality, and it's just like
It's a never-ending story.
Yeah, I see how much it's really just changing. Is there anything you want to add? And how is it like just for a woman when a man really steps into this power?
It feels amazing because you just feel like you're respecting that man way more, and you're seeing him as actually a leader, and that is so much more attractive rather than having someone who's just like trying to basically get to the goal, or like trying to like make things happen or whatever. Like I feel like for me it is so much more attractive if someone takes his time and like isn't like really this ego driven, or like this kind of like let's quickly get to it in a way.
Let's go here quick.
No, closed. No entry today.
Yeah. So the body language, tonality is super important.
Yeah.
There's so much on this, but this will like start moving you in that right direction. And when you do this, I promise you, bro, like women will respond to you so much differently, and you won't get walked over. Because guys sometimes say like they get walked over, they don't feel that respect that they really truly need from a woman. And even if it's your wife for such a long time, when you start like, even if you haven't gone to the gym for a while, go to the gym, start building yourself up, your character inside and outside the bedroom, and you watch that how much a woman, like the more you respect yourself, the more you respect the more respect you'll get from others.
Exactly. And also you might be surprised how much she might also shift during that, because of how you lead and how you hold yourself, because it's a continuous level up on both sides.
100%. The more you level up, the more she's going to level up, and then you also like meet so many amazing people who are at your like where you're at, and it's just a great reflection of where you're at in life, because everything's always a mirror. If you're like, oh my God, my partner's like doing like this in the relationship, it's like, how did you create this? It's usually you created this from the old you. But we won't go into this too much now, but it's like just see the woman who you're with and the relationships that you have in your life is a direct mirror of where you're at. And it might be a hard, bitter pill to swallow, but for me, I look past at my past relationship like, oh my God, women walked over me because I allowed that. And it was usually because of like, I wasn't so much of a masculine leader. I was a bit of a teenage fuck boy, and I was meeting like these little princessy, girly fuck girls, and it was just like, and there's a lot of like dysfunctionality in that. But the more that I've stepped into my masculine king energy, and I'm still working on that consistently day in, day out, the more the relationships in my life, like beautiful Tinkerbell and other people I connect with, are more on that frequency, and it's just more level opposed to just fucking sporadic and all over the shop.